Welcome to the Steve Show. Today I have Jess Todtfeld here, and we are going to talk about the media. How do you get on it? How do you get interviewed on the news? And how do you leverage that big time so you can actually spend less in advertising dollars, get more exposure, and actually leverage it for you to have a greater life, to be able to make more money in shorter periods of time. All right, welcome Jess to the show. So excited. I've read your book, mostly. I think I have like 3 chapters left. No, seriously. And
those were the best 3 chapters.
Okay, well I'm gonna do it this week. I am, I promise. And the thing about this book though, I've read a lot of books on public relations and different things, and I'm excited about a lot of things for us to talk, but I do wanna mention that for anybody that's getting started in the media or looking for interviews or different things, it's so easy what you put step by step in here. It really is, like with the message matrix, or what you call it, the message system.
The message system.
Because so often you're in an interview and you don't know what to say. Like you already know what to say. Like it doesn't matter what question I ask him, he's ready to go.
He's on to me. You and my wife are on to me. She accuses me in an argument. You already are using some technique. Maybe I was right once. Come on, people. But yes, there's a system to make interviews easier, and we want to convert them into business.
That's it.
That's what we want to do. It's not just for the sake of talking, which Steve's awesome, and that's partly actually why I'm here, but also we want to convert interviews into business.
Well, and it's amazing, and I'm so glad because I live in California and Jess lives in New York, and the reason we're here together, and you might hear some airplanes flying over because we're right next to San Francisco International Airport, and you're going to catch a flight here after this, so...
We're going to run.
But we have enough time, I think, right? Okay.
We do. We got time.
Okay, good.
There they are.
Yeah, so so it's exciting that we're in the same place and we get to have this talk, and what I wanted to kind of cover is how you're just so good at seriously, I've been watching, and I've only known Jess a short time, like what has it been, a year or something?
Yeah, about.
And I'm glad that I got to know you, brother.
Me too, because, I'm grateful.
Yeah, it's amazing, like you bring a lot of value, like you're kind-hearted and giving, and one thing that you're giving to people is the opportunity to show them with all of your background, and maybe you can share briefly like your background with all the television experience. You're teaching other coaches, consultants, speakers, and other business people how to leverage the media so they can earn more money in shorter periods of time, right?
Yes. So, you know, we have our real thing, which is that for me, and then we have these other things that we do that you're doing right at this moment. And while I'm going to explain that, thank you for saying nice things about me and giving, but I call them human being moments, which is we have a lot of moments every single day to be a human being to somebody else. Right. You know, I will just help you with that, or I will just tell you, or you know, I was going to say show up at 3 a.m. and help them move. I don't know.
Or you can hire a moving company. That's what I do. Yeah.
At 3 a.m. I know somebody. I'll do that.
Yeah, you just send the truck.
Send the truck, and then we'll both be so much happier getting rest.
Right.
But yeah, the interviews, well, I was a TV producer for 13 years on the national level. I worked at ABC, NBC, and Fox.
All of them, basically.
All of them. I was all over the place. And it was good. It was exciting. But I wasn't master of my self and domain, and I didn't have this control and freedom that I wanted to.
Right.
And you've told the story about, you know, your dad worked so hard, and one day you realize, I'm my dad, and we love our dads.
Of course.
And yes, and I wanted to be a lot of what my dad is, but I wanted to be able to create freedom. That was the whole idea of starting a business. So my business is helping people to not only do a better job with the media and ace interviews, but also to get more and convert interviews. And on the other side, the public speaking side for business folks is Speak to Close, which is a branding that I have. So under that communication realm, I'm helping people. But the idea is we're not just yapping to yap, which is fun. We are hopefully delivering value.
Right.
So I'm going to make sure you get lots of things, people.
We are. I mean, I think
we're tuning in right now.
You can't help it when you have people like Jess and myself, like, and that's why you're here, because you're a lot like me. Like, you just can't help it. You go somewhere, you give value, you show up, you bring something to the table, and
It can be a marketing strategy, but it's a human being strategy.
That's right. It really is. I mean, right? We want to help people, and with all the assets you have, you're like harnessing everything that you have from all of what you know and applying it to helping others, and which is amazing.
And that's our duty. And like the Zig Ziglar quote, you know, you help other people get what they want, you get what you want. And I have my own take on some of that is instead of giving, you shall receive, which is from some book. The Bible.
That's right.
That's it. But I say give to give, which is give to give and then let go of it. You're not giving because you want to receive. Just give to give, and great stuff happens. Now, some people are saying, does this have to do with media stuff? He's going to give us special secrets. And I didn't even bury the lead. I have a Guinness record for being interviewed the most times in 24 hours, which was 112 different radio stations and been on lots of TV and radio. So the whole idea is I will hopefully have some good ideas for all of you today.
Right. So, and I want to say that we decided right before we started this interview that we're going to like break that record, you know, together.
We're going to just stay here.
Yeah, we'll just do it right now.
Cancel my flight.
Yeah. Well, and you know, it's funny. I just wanted to share one quick story. I was at Universal Studios. My daughter wanted to go to the Harry Potter world, right, for her birthday. And we were there, and we went. It was cold because my daughter's birthday is at the beginning of January, so it was like rainy and cold. And then they wanted to go on the Jurassic Park ride, which is a water ride, and you get all wet, right? So I went in, I bought the rain things, you know, like for all of us. So and you know, you're at the park already, so I don't know what it was, like $5-6 a piece, right? So all of a sudden, you're just getting this piece of plastic you're going to use for like 2 minutes. But then as soon as I got out, everyone was throwing them away or putting them in this big recycle bin. Yeah. I took them out, you know, we kind of shook them off a little bit, and I went out there and watched for a family coming to the line, and I said, hey, would you guys like these? And they're like, what? They were even taken back. They're like, what do you want for them? And I'm like, they're my gift. Go ahead. Nice. I said, if you want to give me a tip or something, you can, but you know, go ahead, you know, and have them. And they didn't give me a tip. So they're like,
I'm sure it's
right. Like, I was waiting.
They're just happy.
But they thanked me, and then later that day, someone came up to us. And they had the full VIP pass. We had some fast tracks and everything. And they're like, we're leaving the park, and we just want to give these to you. And then we had VIP, like, went to the front of the line on every ride for the rest of the night. And I showed my family, and I taught to my children. I said, remember we gave those jackets away today? Now look what we got back. And it's totally different people, but that's the way the world works.
It does. It absolutely works that way. So now when it comes to giving speeches, what I help people with, and media interviews, this is big, huge tactic. People take out a pen, number one for today, which is give something away.
Right.
So I could come out and say, buy my book, buy my book. Or I can say, hey, guess what? Do you want to do a better job with the media? I'll tell you what, I'm going to give something away right now, and they don't even have to opt into anything. I'm going to buck the system. You'd think, oh, well, Jess is saying he's giving something, but he's really getting my email, and he's got no. So if you go to Media Training Toolkit, you're going to get a whole bunch of great stuff, how to master all different types of interviews, TV, print, radio, internet, and then a bunch of videos. And you don't even have to. I'm not forcing you to give me your name and email. And then, of course, if they want even more, then there's a spot where they can get even more. But the point is, that's not the usual, by the way.
Right.
And I have
everyone would always ask for an email, and I'll tell you.
Yes.
I know his material now, and I can tell you it's all amazing stuff. And if you actually take what he just gave you and you use it, you're gonna gain. It's amazing. So thank you for giving everyone that gift today.
That's it. I'm done. You can't beat that.
We're done. We're good.
We're through.
I mean, so I guess how would you say, as if they apply some of the tips that you have and they utilize the media in this way, how does that help them grow their business? Yeah, and also in time, because the time's a big thing for me.
Yes.
So how do we make more money in less time through these tools?
Great. Well, some people are thinking, Jess, you said you've got to convert interviews into business, and then you gave a thing away, and then you didn't even get any.
Give it all away.
You didn't get even an email address, and this is a terrible idea how you're doing that. So one thing is have a free item, and I also have free items where people do opt in.
And you're going to want to because there's so much value. That's the thing. If there's enough value, that's why nobody should worry about putting their name and email in. If there's enough value, you're going to do it.
Yes.
I mean, if there's enough value, you're going to spend money, right? I mean, why do you buy the car that you bought? Why do you have the couch you have? Why do you like this jacket? You paid for it because you liked it, the value, right?
Yeah, and if it's not right for people, then don't get it. We don't have something in common. You don't need me then. Don't get it. But if you say, oh, this makes sense, I want to hear more, then great. Now we're a fit for each other. And then we lead with free stuff. So, okay, so how do we turn it in with less time, less effort? So,
how is it leveraged? Yeah.
Yeah, so deciding that you've got the interview already. We pretend you have the interview, you're going there, you're going to go do it, or on the phone, or however you're going to do it. So one is a free item. Number 2 would be to get people to opt in. And I'm just at a point now where I don't always do it, but people will still reach out and they know about me.
I think it's a smart thing. Let's just break that down for 1 second. I know I'm interrupting you, but the fact that you're getting them to your site, and then there's more stuff that is going to have opt-in that's even more valuable. So they're going to get a taste of it and then say, oh my gosh, I want more of this. Right. And then they're going to probably opt in. So you're still getting them. And by you saying you don't have to put your email in, there's more times that they're going to go. If you were to give that and then they're going to say, oh, I probably have to put my email in and my credit card. And you're like, you don't have to put your credit card. You don't have to put your name and email. They're going to, this guy's smart. They're going to go there and be like, what is all this?
And most people are not doing that. But you have a choice. You can do either one. But for most people who have a little bit less exposure, my wife would say, "You're overexposed. You're doing all these interviews." Sorry, honey. Just to see.
Yeah, and he's supposed to be going to the airport. You're like, "What? You're doing another interview?"
Yeah. She said, "It's par for the course."
Yeah.
For those folks, then you want to opt in, and now you've gone from interview to an email address, and then you and I agree on this. The only things that you send them are items of value, and yes, can you promote and have other promotions? Sure, but I always make sure there's value attached to it, and it's not just, hey, me, look at me. I may have somebody opt in and they got 10 great strategies. Hey, guess what? I have 10 more I want to share with you. Oh, that's great. Hey, guess what? If you want to look at these these videos, I have videos that people get onto a list. I had a guy who came in from India, and he said, I've been watching your videos for the last 2 years. I love every single one, and I'm buying your biggest package. I don't know what it is yet, but I'm buying it. I said, hello.
Right? That was the intro.
That's the sales conversation, right? So
it led. Because it's so leveraged.
And I lead with value. And if we're not right fit, and we're not right fit. And actually, he ended up doing both programs, and it was great. So we want to make sure I have a free item.
They just come to you ready to buy.
Yes, and I wish every last person was exactly like that.
But the fact that happened. The fact that happened.
And I've had that experience numerous times where people said, I've been watching your stuff, and we're here at an event, and people have seen another side tactic, because I want to give lots of value, is interviewing people, be the media. So
I don't know who does this.
Who does that? So
I just said that's why I set up my crew and I brought people in. Here we are.
And so you're watching it in action, which is amazing.
Example.
And I do it at conferences. So and Steve actually has I was commenting to Chris's producer here about all the equipment and all the right stuff. But I will even pack it. You can all do this too. I'll take my phone, which is now 4K video. The iPhone comes with it. And a selfie stick, and then a special microphone that is made for those cameras, and a little extension. And then sometimes I hold it out, and I'm interviewing the person who was the big deal person at this event. And when you do that, in person it looks like, oh, you're holding a selfie stick, and what's this about? And when people see that video, they say, how did you have time with that CEO? How did this happen? Right. Do you know everybody? And then you just say, yes. You just, yes.
So how do you do that again?
Yes.
That's exactly it.
You do that.
Because you got them in that moment, because they will do it. Like, even I actually had a C-level executive today, and then I was scrambling to get the crew ready, and then they were gone. And we did get some great people, but I missed an interview because, I didn't have it in my hand. But we got a whole bunch today. And my team was amazing. Thank you, team. But the fact is that I get what you're saying, because like that one we did miss, and you can grab it. And not that you're going to get them all, but the fact that you have everything ready to go like that is amazing.
And TV and video is not everybody's comfort zone. Okay, that's fine. You can interview them by phone through one of the free conference calling services that are out there, and it records it, turns into an MP3, and now you have a podcast.
Done.
Done.
Yeah.
And as long as it's great content, it's great content.
Yep.
You don't even have to wear. Well, you probably should wear clothes. You should
Well,
wear
no one
clothes.
will ever know. So
You don't have any
just
idea.
don't mention it if you want to do that.
Tie your robe shut. So there's something else that I talk about in interviews, which instead of the word plug, people show up and they say, I got a plug, which is, buy my book, buy my book. I've turned into an acronym, which is PLUG, properly leverage your gift. I spell you-are.
Okay.
Properly leverage your gift.
Beautiful.
You gotta make it work.
Hey, it works.
And the whole idea is the gift is the free item and how you properly leveraging this. So I've given you something and now I'm not like, I've got a hold of your email, and you want to build it into a relationship. And when they are over on your site, you also want to take these interviews that you've done and you want to have them not just on a media page, you want to spread them throughout your website.
Right.
So they stumble and they have a chance to meet you
right.
and see your face and connect with you like a real human being. What if we were somewhere?
Right. That's amazing. So now you're spreading the word, you're leveraging your time, you're leveraging other people, and you're giving value out there, which is that's going to come back to you. Because when people see value, and like you said, like you gave so much value, someone called you and said, I want to buy your biggest package. How do I sign up?
And he really said that, and my actual reaction instead of hi was I did chuckle a little bit. And he knew. I mean, he said, "I need this. I have a business, and for people in some other countries, connecting with somebody in the U.S. is a big stamp of approval, and there's some other pieces."
And that
so
will happen. Nice. Like today when I was speaking at the NSA, I told my story how I ran on stage to meet my mentor, and I wrote a big check that I couldn't afford. Someone came up to me and they're like, "Hey, I need to talk to you. I need to write a check to you that I can't, like it was like that same moment. They're like, I want to work with you. And, business is not good the way I want it, even though I'd want it to be, but I need your help, and I didn't even sell anything. I just gave a gift of a 60-minute speech, and I moved someone, and it was emotional for a moment, and they're like, please help me kind of thing. So it's amazing what we get to do.
It is amazing, and I thank you. I'm giving gratitude to you for doing this show the way you've done it. And you're a busy guy, and you have a family, and you like to keep them by giving them attention. But these are important messages, and we get so busy with, I got to do this, I got to do that, I got to do the other thing, that we lose track of that. And then we have kids who are younger in the house. They'll grow up, and our life will
tell us like, Dad, I got stuff to do. My mom used to play that Cats in the Cradle song. Remember that?
Oh, it's so sad.
I know, it's so sad. I'm like, Mom, why are you playing this? Because she's like, yeah, and I'm, I'm working, I've developed, I almost said work, and I don't want to say that. I've developed and systemized my business in such a way that I can have that. And after these interviews, I'm going to go be hugging and loving with my kids. Luckily, I'm only a drive away. You got several hours of flight time. But let's talk about that. Like now that because you just started in a high-paced environment, work your butt off, producing television. Believe me, I know, because I went to film school and produced some stuff myself. I know that world, and now you've started to gain control. Like, tell me how, with all of your media experience and what you're doing, how have you leveraged that, and how is your lifestyle? Is it where you want it to be, or like where are you with that? Yeah.
The short answer is kind of, which is
an honest one, but beautiful.
Yeah, I want to be as honest and transparent. I said right before we did this, there are some things that I'm going to share where I can design my life. There are other things that I do and I say, this is totally out of whack. So one is, it's my business, so I can take a day off if I want to take a day off. Of course, I sometimes pay for it because the next day there are 20 things I was going to do the day before and I didn't take care of it the way.
And you have the choice.
And I have a choice. And I will now choose my family because I know that the kids will grow up and I would like to stay married to my wife. and that's important to me. So I will do things like that and then find other little pockets, and I call it time shifting. So in the middle of the day, if I'm not out on the road or in New York City where I'm based and I may only be in my office in the city 1 or 2 days a week, and then I can work from home or wherever it is. But maybe my wife and I want to go bike riding, and that is a thing we like to do when it's nice out, or at least not freezing out. We try to get it in.
Right.
And I will do that. And then I will take some other little pockets somewhere else, say when the kids are doing their homework, and then I'll go back and get on the computer and take
But you have the flexibility to make those choices, yeah.
So that's not what everybody gets to do, so I'm grateful for that. And then the transparent part is sometimes I will say I want to get this task done and keep going, and I could just, there's no end. You can just be doing and doing, and I know you actually texted me one day, and then we said, you have your special thing about a 10-minute phone call. I said to the person next to me, I did one of his 10-minute phone calls. We talked for an hour and a half.
Yeah.
And it was
not
wonderful.
A usual text.
but you had said, you said, listen, dude, you have to delegate some of those things. And absolutely right. And I do, and there are some things that I am delegating and so much better with. And certainly things that make sense to me. And the things that don't, I just have to be better at doing them and just getting the system down. So we're all always a work in progress. Sometimes
it's a journey.
What I say, so I'll ask you, I just turned the tables on his own show, which
ahead,
is I'll say, well, by the time I can explain to someone what I want done, I'll have done it already. But then the problem is then you're just still doing everything or not everything.
Well, typically there's tasks that are not just one time, right?
Yes.
There are things that have to happen. So if you invest time, let's say it costs you 3 times to make that transition to delegating it, or 5 times, or even 10 times. I mean, that's extreme, but let's say it takes you 10 times the length of time to get it done, but then you never have to do that task ever again because you have somebody that can do it over and over and over and over and over.
Right.
That's where the leverage happens.
Right.
And there are some things like buying an airline ticket. Maybe you could just like go on there, buy the damn ticket, and then get off to it. Other times where you have to do like a trip and there needs to be more research, maybe then you delegate it. So there are tasks that I just take and I do. But when I notice something, and the way that I notice it is I look at the daily tasks, and I look at it and I say, what can I eliminate, what can I delegate, and what can I automate? And by putting those 3 things there and doing it over and over every day, there's things that I say, oh, I have to do this. I did this too. I'm like, I have to do this. It's going to take me too much time to delegate it. And then I'd keep looking at it on my list, and when I start seeing it over and over, I'm like, shit, you know what? Okay, that's it. I'm going to take 3 hours. I'm going to train someone else, and I'm not going to have this on my to-do list ever again.
Right.
You know, unless there's some problem, then we deal with that. But and so it takes looking at it every day to then notice it. Because there's stuff I've had on my list for like months or tasks, and I'm like, oh, that's mine. I'm owning that. I'm owning that. I'm owning that. And then after a month of seeing it on my list every day or every week, then I'm like, you know what? I think I can delegate this. Right. So it takes asking yourself every day, what can I eliminate? What can I delegate? What can I automate? And if you keep asking, all of a sudden you're like, you know what? I don't want to do that anymore. And that's the shift.
And that's the shift. And we got to write those 3 down and live by it. So I wrote it down that day. And I found a couple of things to automate and delegate.
Awesome.
Right. And some of them I actually did. So
that's a success. That's a success.
Yes.
It's one step at a time. And some things you didn't, so what? Now the next day you get a restart.
Yes.
And then you're like, okay, how can I eliminate, delegate, and automate?
In fact, the next day we were a little bit more efficient with some of the social media things that I have going on. And that's exciting, so that'll open up more time to do more interviews and, and to be out there. And you brought up the piece about work and is it work or not work? And it's when I get to be in front of people and help people, that is just pure joy to be doing it. And it's it's amazing. And then we have to get rid of those things that are. I mean, I have a lot of administrative stuff that's being helped, but they're still sitting there typing up some sales page because the copy is in my head exactly the way. But like you said, that can be shared with somebody who's good.
Or and delegate it. Maybe that's the thing you want to keep because maybe you actually enjoy doing it. I always say, do what you do best and delegate the rest.
Yes.
Right? And that also comes from the heart space. So like ask yourself, if I want to write that copy, do I want to do that? Do you want that to be part of your day? If you don't, then find somebody else that knows you and that you can continually work with, because especially when it comes to writing, that they know you. But you can do it. It's just step by step.
Yes,
it is.
We can do that. And I got one more strategy.
Okay.
We're weaving between personal and strategies for all of you. But when you're in an interview, you want to plant seeds along the way Really two. Seeds
I
and
wish we
call
could
to
like
action.
rewind and show where we did that because we were, you know, it's like.
Well,
Okay,
I'll tell you where I did it, and I probably didn't do it in as big of a way today, but I definitely did it today because it's built in for what I do. I mentioned that my business is media training and presentation, public speaking training for business
people. You mentioned
people.
you have clients, and that your biggest package, and
My
someone
biggest
bought
package,
that. Like those are
yes.
seeds. Like what else?
These are all important seeds, and we brought it up.
Right.
And on some interviews, I might be even more strategic because we had a little bit more time, so I knew I could have a little bit more fun with you. And
Plus we have to have fun. Yeah, so
we have to have fun,
You
and
can't
I'd rather
be on
do
a
that.
Steve show and not have fun. Yeah.
And so you want to plant these seeds all throughout your answers because this way you're not plugging in the old way where you're forcing something into the show.
We have people look up what are his big packages.
Yeah, what
right?
what is he talking about?
Yeah.
What is it? And then he must have big packages and small packages and
Right.
And who does he help?
Right.
CEOs and business folks and experts and authors and anyway, you gotta.
Yeah,
so
see.
that's important to do. And then the calls to action, which it can even be smaller ones, like go try some of these techniques. Just saying, go try this, or ask yourself this question, and then you put the question, which is, would it be helpful on your website if you had an interview of you talking about everything that you tell prospects on the phone or wherever you see them that makes their eyebrows pop up and say, I need that. If you had an interview of you on your local NBC affiliate, how would that change things for you?
Oh yeah, it's huge.
That's I'm calling them to act and think, and I wasn't saying, you know what, just buy my book.
Yeah. Every campaign with my ad agency days, every campaign that we could double boost, like, you know, if we were putting out an ad and then we can get press around that and double down, or any stories we could get told around that company, it just was exponential. Like, especially if a company was spending $1 million, when we could really get the media behind it, then it would turn into like $3 million worth of ad spend, and we have like actual data on this.
And you track.
Yeah. So and then that goes on the smaller side. I had some campaigns where we did $100,000 in ads, and because we were really aggressive with the media, it was nearly like $1.8 million worth of media and advertising total combined, and they only spent $100,000. And then you can go down. So if you're spending $10,000, $5,000, and you use the media properly, this could be like a $100,000 campaign that you might not be able to afford. Like, so if you're sitting there saying, "Oh, we're not ready to spend $100,000 on ads," then this is where the media is huge and pays huge dividends. And if you actually did the stats on it, you can see like, oh my gosh, I'm getting like $100,000 worth of publicity, and I didn't have to. I actually did a little bit of work, or you worked to get an interview, but now you have it leveraged.
And then they call it earned media, which means you earned showing up on these channels versus just paying for an ad. And there's a higher level that you come in. It's social proof for people
because
who are
it's a third party.
It's a third party. Just by them having you, they're endorsing you.
Right.
You wouldn't have me on today if you thought I was a jerk.
Right.
And in real life, I hope not.
Yeah.
And
no, nobody's allowed like that.
Then they're not allowed on.
Yeah, they're not.
And it's social proof of the masses, and in this case, the media, that you're the real deal, that you are the expert in this area. And when you have this interview, TV, print, radio, and even internet interviews, this is an internet TV interview.
Right.
When you have those things done, you want to make sure they're front and center so that people can be captured and be right in on the ride.
It's beautiful, brother, and I so appreciate you taking the time before your flight to come spend time with us and share so much and give these gifts. And I'm just excited. Like, I just know we're gonna do more together.
We don't know what the future will unfold, like the magic 8-ball. It will all be told. We don't know. And hopefully to help all of you, because that's the sweet spot. I know I will look for the win-win-win, not just. There are plenty of projects that are just plain fun for me, but maybe I shouldn't be doing all of it. Maybe that's just vacation time.
Right. And that's what
maybe that's
continue to find the balance, and we'll be living our lives giving and being with our family. And I hope that you got some tremendous value. In fact, on social media, I know we're both pretty active, so connect. Let us know what was valuable in this today, in this episode. And then also let us know what you didn't hear, what questions you have further. If there's areas that you want us to dig deeper, maybe we'll end up doing a second episode. I know some people asked me to come speak in New York probably after this event.
We're going to get you back.
I'm sure.
We just had you recently.
I know. So I'm
sure.
That
C-suite conference.
So I'm sure I'll be back out and we'll do another interview. So definitely let us know what you'd like to hear more of, and we'd love to share it with you. Until the next episode, choose gratitude, create freedom.